medium to long term. I'm sure it answers your question. We 2 years, and I think by the time you look at real mass adoption and enterprises at affordable levels, it's going to be at least 12 to 24 months away. So while that's a market we would like to play in, but at this point we're not really foreseeing that as a thought process. We need to focus on the market as it is today.
You started out with these products individually. You would have hypothecated certain demand, saying that this is what would be the uptake. And when you actually rolled out these services in each individual case, now what are those metrics or what are those things that told you that indeed those metrics of demand were met? What I'm trying to ask you is that how do you know that this product was, you thought that this is a killer app, and what gave you the justification later on that it was indeed something useful or something that a user would like to use, be it instant messenger, mobile search, or a multilingual SMS, or even the push to talk for an Indian consumer.
We say that business cheating. We say that internally you build business cases which are glorious. We say that you bring in so many revenue, so much of revenue, so many users, etc. But the honest view is that we are investing for the future. For instance, mobile search in India, when we first launched, we had to immensely fight internally to get the service out, because a company like Microsoft would rather invest in a market where it sees returns today and not 3 years down the line. Right? So you would probably invest in a country like Germany or UK where the returns are immediate. Than a country like India, where I don't see any revenues for the next 3 years. It's about growing users, it's about growing revenues, it's about growing the category. So honestly, when we launched mobile search, forget about the business cases that we made internally like Excel sheets, but the clear expectations that we had in the business group was that we don't expect revenues out of it for the next 2 years. We said the metric that we should have is the number of unique users who come on the service and the number of search queries that we have. Build the search queries. I think that's pretty much the same model that perhaps Google, Yahoo, everyone adopts. If you look at Gmail client or the Yahoo client, Yahoo Go client, they don't care about monetization today. It's all about acquiring users and then bother about monetization 2 years down the line. But the realities are completely different to what we expect, even in terms of queries or user bases. There are mix of factors which contribute to that. One is in terms of being relevant to the user in terms of the search results. The search results are again data from third parties, how updated are the data points. Are they updated from time to time? So if I'm querying for a restaurant, I get a number, and I call the number is changed. I'll never come back to the service. So you need to have constant upgradation of the service. It needs a lot of investment, and that's a third-party investment that's required. So that's one. The second one is in terms of how do you promote the service. If you remember the Eskimo campaign that Vodafone did about a year back, it was more about promoting the category as such than promoting search on Vodafone. So the challenge is for us to grow the search as a category in the industry rather than trying to drive queries. It's good that we have competition from Google and Airtel because that overall helps driving the queries. But just to answer your question in short, we fell short of all expectations, just not just revenues. And I think we have a long way to go in search as a category. That's where I think, what I talked about the partnerships, right? So you look at applications being overlaid on search. Just to give you a simple example, if I want driving directions from point X to point Y, don't just give the driving direction, but can you create a virtual way where I can put virtual holdings, etc., etc. I mean, the possibilities are limitless. You can do multiple emulation on that. It's about really understanding the consumer behavior, what are they really looking at. And interestingly, when you launch search, people in cities like UP or Bihar, they finally called the customer care, Vodafone customer care, and said, "What the hell is this bar?" Because I used to see Aishwarya photograph or a Sushmita photograph, and you guys are not put a search bar. They didn't know what to do with that. They were just annoyed. So it's all about educating the consumer and making it a habit for them. So that's the challenge that we're facing today. And that's where I think a lot of collaboration needs to be done, not just with the carriers but also with the.
What about the other three products? Is it the same kind of observation? What I'm trying to get at is, is it fair to say that InRed was initially estimated to be?
Well, yeah, I agree. Some of the things could be adopted at a sharp runway because of the regulatory issues. But keeping that aside, I would say that it was a ahead of its time. Today, if you have a service like that coupled with a good intelligent application, it probably will take off. But at that point in time, our difficulty was how do we really position that as a killer value prop? That was the challenge we had. You're right.
In voice business, was it ahead of its time? Because now it is doing comments for it.
Voice business was a killer even at that point in time. The service that we eventually pulled down in terms of we didn't spend any marketing dollars on that because the traffic went 10x and therefore the service got killed. So that's all the things that I talked about, scalability and working with the partnerships to ensure that we have the right scale.
The other thing which I want to ask, like on mobile scenario and also or those are discussed basically with the service provider side. Do you guys basically do the search work or it's the companies which you do and then you endorse see yes the feasibility is there, then take it? How is it?
So for core properties, outsource as well because we believe these are core assets to Microsoft. Having said that, there are a few partners we work with and it takes a bit of effort and time because it needs integration with our backend systems which are not just for India but global markets. So it's a challenge that we have, but at least in India, we firmly believe if you want to promote last mile innovation, the way to go is partnerships. And the blessing that we have is we have a excellent center in Hyderabad, which works as part of India-based products, and that's why I think we have an opportunity to work with partners. Look at what people are doing today on mobile internet. They're downloading wallpapers, ringtones. We call that as the internet experience. So to that extent, I think it's not really evolved. From my experience with working on other carriers, we know that most of the activities that people do on mobile internet is downloading wallpapers and ringtones. And it's a pity that few carriers are still not allowing access to third-party websites, and it's a closed garden, as we say. So I think it's a long way to go in terms of.
Can you name some third-party service that is not wallpaper or ringtone that is still famous but you don't have access? You don't have to name websites, but some kind of service.
I take my own mobile phone, for example, MSN-India.com and mobile. It's still not accessible on a few carrier websites, right? And the pity is it doesn't have any downloadable content. It doesn't compete with their properties, but just doesn't have access. So that's a shame, and I think slowly carriers are opening up. Hopefully we'll see personal internet access, and also we need to look at data rates going down and adopting the mobile advertising as a business model rather than monetizing on content and data rates. So I think personally, I believe there's a long way to go with mobile with browsing. But I think, as I said earlier, it's the right time for us to do something about it.
But since in the mobile world, everything is built. Everything is like each and everything is you pay, user pay. So if you look into the both, okay, what do you say that it's mobile web is going to be the peak? Because I feel myself I use very less mobile web, whereas okay, if I do any transaction, I'll say better let me go. I downloaded MGPay, I downloaded MCheck and everything, but still I go to the web. I say that let me the firmware or whatever gives me good experience there. So, but people looks like okay they want because the Airtel is charging so much, they want the money out of it. So
Biggest PCs with mobile phones. They're going to be complementing each other. But the way we are looking at services on mobile in India, versus the social networking that we're trying to do on mobile, is going to be hugely integrated with PC. The experience is going to be seamless across mobile and PC. So if I want to upload something on a video or mobile or a photograph, I can do that from anywhere from a mobile phone. And then I do all the editing, all my commentary, etc. on the PC. So it's going to be complementary in that sense. The model I think we believe that is going to take shape is that, in fact, during our discussions it may be too early, but when we talk to carriers, obviously the intent is to have free content and drive internet usage. Look at, for instance, the number of unique users today on GBR that is less than 10 million active users.